Travis, this is James Gladstone with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're moving from pick 5 to pick 2 because you're the one we've been hunting up.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
Jacksonville made the biggest trade in this year's draft, leapfrogging up the board to the number 2 overall pick. And now the player they selected, Travis Hunter, is trying to make his own big move by becoming the first two-way NFL player since his former college head coach, Deion Sanders.
Lofton left, looking for Sanders. Touchdown, Deion Sanders.
This is just so rare. But then again, so are the talents of Hunter, who's being onboarded in Jacksonville as a wide receiver, but also will be used at times at cornerback.
You know, in the pros, it's going to be the same way for me, but I don't have schoolwork, so I can go my 24 hours and nothing but football.
It's what Hunter did at Colorado last season.
Touchdown! The best player in college football!
When he played 1,481 total snaps, nearly 300 more than any other player in college football. And if Hunter is used enough on both sides of the football in Jacksonville, the Jaguars are open to using him in the most effective ways, then he will do things that no one has seen for years.
Celebrate like it's 1996!
1996.
Back in 1996, Deion Sanders became the last NFL player with at least 8 starts on both offense and defense in the same season.
Deion playing both ways this year. He's been out only 4 plays all night.
Before him, Don Hutson shined and still remains the only player in NFL history with 400 career receptions and 10 interceptions. Following their two-way careers, both Hutson and Deion wound up in Canton in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now Hunter is starting his own two-way journey in a way that today only he can.
Travis Hunter didn't just play both sides of the ball last season, he excelled at it. 86% of Colorado's snaps on offense, finished tied for second in the FBS in touchdown grabs. 83% of Colorado's snaps on defense he played, finishing third in the Big 12 in interceptions. I mean, there's no doubt he was excellent on both sides of the ball. There's a reason why he was the number 2 overall pick in the draft. But Field, you did extensive video work on Hunter leading up to the draft. How do you see his reps actually being split at this next level?
Yeah, Laura, to me, there's a path to an all-pro player on either side of the ball. I actually think the ceiling is slightly higher as a wide receiver, which is to take nothing away from his defensive efforts. And Adam mentioned how the team is onboarding him in offense or on the offensive side of the ball during OTAs, which is at least in part because their GM, James Gladstone, talked about how instinctive he is as a defensive player. And so if you told me Travis Hunter is going to play a slightly larger share of snaps on one side of the ball or the other, to me, it would be logical if this team leans to the cornerback side because he can just basically go off of instincts and not have to go through the meetings process as extensively during the week. I think my cold take on Travis Hunter has been kind of consistent since the months leading up to the draft. I think it's going to be one of those things that the team figures out along the way. If there are certain weeks where they need him to be playing more wide receiver than defensive back, they can do so. But because of how unique this player is, Alan, it might be something that just kind of changes on the fly.
I agree, but at the same time, being able to get adjusted to the physicality of the NFL, I think that can be a challenge. Also, when you're talking about people who are masters of crafts at this level and guys who are playing on Sundays, you're playing against guys who are great route runners, not just good route runners, but great route runners. You're talking about you're playing against corners who are great in press coverage like your Jalen Ramseys of the world. So being able to get adjusted to that, and also, again, you have to tackle Derrick Henry's coming out of the backfield. So that's a lot to ask for a guy playing an extensive amount of snaps on Sundays. And as a person who's played in Duval, I know how hot it can get down there, so it can be challenging at times.
So, Alan, here's what I love about football players. I love that you guys, so confident, come into the league thinking, yeah, I could do anything. I love that. Here's my caution. Here's my caution for Travis Hunter, because I remember since the Combine, and he talked about, yeah, I could do it all. My only caution is temper the expectations just a little bit, because I think he could be a phenomenal corner in the NFL personally. But the NFL is different. It's not college. What you're able to do, these guys on opposite you, they get paid just as much money to stop you from doing whatever it is that you want to do. He's got tremendous instincts, but the season is longer. The guys across from you are just as big, just as physical. And so to me, I think packages are cool, but I just want him to sort of temper the expectations, because if he thinks, oh, I can be this great player that I was in college, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed because it's just not that simple.
Yeah, it's interesting because even some of the players that you talk to are actually excited. They respect his film. They respect his abilities. But then there's also the side of you're not going to be able to do this at the next level. Right. So I can't wait to see how it plays out. And Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, by the way, had an interesting thought about how teams may try to make Hunter really work on every defensive rep.
If he plays corner, they're going to run deep balls at him all day. They're going to run the wide receivers, just take off on him all day just to try and get him tired.
Yeah.
I'm like, why wouldn't you just attack him that way?
You buying that logic, Mina?
I think there's something to it. I love the gamesmanship aspect of this, and it's cool to hear from Travis. But he highlights, I think, what is going to be an issue with Travis if they try to play him both ways. Offensively, they have more control, right, over how he is deployed. But defense is inherently reactive. And the Jacks can say, okay, we're only going to play him on third downs, maybe outside or in certain situations. But invariably, he is going to have to prepare, and Alan alluded to this, for the tendencies of different wide receivers, for the different ways offenses will attack them. That's a lot to put on the shoulders of a young player, and is why I have a little bit of hesitation about the two-ways experiment, because there is a lot of craft and preparation that goes into both sides. And on defense, I think Travis is onto something there in terms of the way offenses might attack him.
Mina, the one last dynamic I wanted to bring up that I'm not sure has been mentioned enough is that the head coach is, of course, Liam Cohen, and he's an offensive guy, and he may not be able to help himself. And he may say, I want Brian Thomas Jr. and I want Travis Hunter lining up opposite each other for 95% of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, that's the other thing. We were kind of talking about this in the commercial break, too. Like, for Trevor Lawrence, you may want as many possible dynamic options out there. You got to think Travis Hunter plays into that as well offensively.
Definitely, and having him alongside Brian Thomas, I think just helps them offensively. Again, with Liam Cohen coming in, we know the kind of offense that he likes to run. In Tampa, he had Mike Evans, he had Chris Godwin. So being able to deploy two good receivers out there, I think that will play hand in hand as far as what Travis Hunter wants to do as well.